Jello again. Wolfwire here is based on Transformers Generation 1 Headmaster Weird Wolf from 1987. And he does a good job of updating the character. It's a pity that they lost the trademark to the name Weird Wolf, as well as the name Monzo for his Titan Master partner. But I guess it is what it is. And Wolfwire here is a yellow and white and blue robotic wolf. So you can see his jaw opens and closes. And his head does tilt as well to give you that sort of curious look. Unlike the first wave deluxe Skull Cruncher in Titan's Return, this guy's legs are very articulate, having ball joints in the shoulders, pin joints for the elbows, and even given the funky way that the rear legs transform into the robot's legs, they still have plenty of articulation in them. And of note, of course, is this stylized tail. Now, if you know anything about Generation 1 Weird Wolf, you'll know that his tail became his sword in robot mode, and this guy's does the same thing. There's a little cockpit on his back right here, and if you open it up, it makes a nice storage spot for Monkso here. And Monkso here, it should be no surprise to anyone by now, is a Titan Master that becomes Wolfwire's head. It's a bit of a shame that there aren't any paint applications on this guy except for the face of Wolfwire, and it's a little disappointing. And lastly, I do want to show that as part of the play pattern, you're able to take Wolfwire's blue gun from his robot mode and attach it to the back of the wolf. And little Monkso here can sit in the compartment and ride that way, as well as inside the cockpit. And now we're going to take this wolf and turn him into this robot. And yes, I know I've left the head off because I want to show off the Titan Master gimmick, this being my first Titan Masters review. Got little Monkso here, and what we'll do is basically just flip the legs around like so and attach the head into the slot there. And there we have a completed Wolfwire, aka Weird Wolf. One thing that struck me right away about the robot mode is the non-closed fist hands that he's got. This is the first figure that I've gotten in the Titan Masters line that has hands like this, the others having that closed fist. It's an extra little bit of sculpting that I appreciate in my Transformers, especially since it's very easy to do these days. I know time was back in the 80s where if the robot had a hand like that and fingers were sort of molded in, you were lucky. In robot mode, Wolfwire continues his resemblance to his G1 counterpart. You get these little, what appear to be round vents on his upper shoulders that looked more like missile pods, I believe, on the G1 figure. And you've got the big Decepticon symbol, which I really appreciate. And I noticed that there was a lack of that in some of the figures in the first wave of Titan's Return. Articulation in robot mode is very decent. Due to the Headmaster gimmick, his head will turn just fine. It doesn't really have much pitch back and forth though. The shoulders, just like the wolf, are on ball joints with the pin joint for the elbow. There's no articulation in the wrist. That's unfortunate, but it's not completely necessary for a figure. Hips are on ball joints, and knees are on a swivel and also a pin hinge. And even his feet have some articulation, and that's mostly due to being able to pose him as a wolf, but it also works out well for robot mode. He's got his two accessories, the aforementioned tail that does become a sword, and also his blue gun. Now this gun is a bit of an oddity because the way that it's molded, you would think that you'd want him to hold it from this peg here, but that doesn't fit into his hand very well. You can get it in, but it's not a good fit, and if you try to push it down into the fist where you think it should go, it misaligns because of the molding. I'm not sure if you can see it there, but because of the molding on the sides of it. So in my opinion, it's better to use the side posts for him to hold it, or certainly you can just leave it off altogether. Or as a third option, you are able to attach it to the hole in his shoulder to give him sort of a shoulder mounted weapon a la Megatron or even G1 Swindle. Overall, this is an excellent update, and the articulation is great in both modes, and he holds together really well. Everything tabs in nicely as it's supposed to. Everything holds together nicely. And other than the lack of paint on the Titan Master that becomes his head, I would say that this is a very, very good representation of the character, and I would highly recommend anyone rushing right out and getting it. He's not as hollow as some of the more recent figures have been, and for my money, and in this case it is my money, you can't go wrong with an updated official version of the character. Well, this is Aaron from My Turbo Review signing off and saying, I'll catch you later. What's that? Quadruple who?